Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with the hungover Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, you know this literally does not work. Let's get open for business as we get on to this morning's edition of the Monday Morning Hangover. Whew, what a difference a week makes. To get a win, I keep trying to tell you guys that the NFL is literally a week-to-week league. You do not know from one week to the next what team will show up. And I keep trying to tell you guys, don't get too excited and too pissed off by what happens the first month of the season, because you really and truly don't know what teams are going to be the teams. We saw the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come out and look like the greatest show on turf, blowing people away the first 2 weeks. Yesterday, not so much. We saw the Miami Dolphins go 3-0 while New England was 1-2. With their backs against the wall. Tom Brady only throwing for 133 yards against the Detroit Lions. Yeah. Did you really think that Tampa Bay and Miami were going to be the teams to beat this season? Do you still think they are? You just don't know from week to week. What happened yesterday were a lot of teams got back to their normal keel. New England went through, back to New England, blew away Miami Dolphins. So much for the Miami Dolphins being the team to beat in the AFC East. The Cowboys got back on track, and by no means am I satisfied with everything that happened yesterday. We had opportunities in that game to take a bigger lead, to put the team away, but we didn't. We had a few mistakes in here, brain farts. But to at least get on track, to see our offense play a lot better. This will at least quiet people down for a week, I hope. And seeing some signs of life from our offense. Our offense, God. It was difficult for me to be here on a daily basis, taking all the hits from you guys of Dak is trash, Dak Prescott. I'm not even going to go through all the daggone names that there were. There's so many. It would take a show in itself just to put on there. And I know you guys are just kind of reloading and waiting for the next game that's not a good game so that way you can come back. But you have to admit, I don't care how much you hate Dak Prescott, I don't know if he's going to be our franchise quarterback. I don't know if he'll need to be replaced and we need to look at somebody else down the road. But you have to look at that game and say, he got the ball downfield. You cannot argue with that pass to Zeke Elliott. That ball, dead to rights, right here, perfect. And that wasn't the only one. Did he miss Rico? Well, I'll say that Rico was being held and it should have been a flag on that one personally. Because take a look at it. The guy's all over him. Rico can't even extend and get up into it. How there wasn't a flag on that one, I don't know. But I hope that they start getting Rico gathers involved in the offense. And you saw Zeke Elliott, and I know everybody will say, give credit to Zeke Elliott because, Dak couldn't do anything without Zeke. Okay, that's fine. I'm okay. As long as we get a win, I don't care what you guys say. I only care about the win. But Zeke Elliott truly turned it up a notch. He is only the third player in Cowboys history to have 150 yards plus rushing, as well as 50 yards receiving. So shout out to Zeke Elliott on that one. Now, there was another thing that I actually wanted to, and I meant to pull it up, forgot to pull it up. Another interesting stat to add to the list for Dak Prescott. Don't have glasses, can't find my glasses, can't see enough to find my glasses, but since 2016, there are 12 quarterbacks to have a minimum of 15 games with at least one touchdown pass and no interceptions. Okay, let me say it again. Since 2016, there's been only 12 quarterbacks that threw at least one touchdown pass and no interceptions. Prescott is now tied for second most, 18, with Tom Brady. Okay? So since 2016, Dak Prescott and Tom Brady are tied with games without a turnover and with the touchdown pass. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Andy Dalton. And he's the only one of those quarterbacks to have an undefeated record. Interesting. That's pretty cool. So I know you guys want to see us air out the ball more and more and more. The thing that was driven into Dak Prescott's head by his mother, God rest her soul, is don't throw interceptions. Interceptions are game killers. They can turn the momentum around. We saw last week with Earl Thomas. We won't see Earl Thomas anymore this season. With Earl Thomas getting that takeaway from Michael Gallup, or that interception. That changed the momentum of the game completely. It got the crowd behind him. It energized the whole team and everything. When you don't turn over the ball, it increases your odds of winning. And that's one of the reasons why Dak is not going to throw to somebody if he thinks it might be an interception. And I know you guys are going to go ahead and say, well, you're just making excuses for him. I'm not making excuses. You saw what he can do. If we can take what we did in that game with more time for the receivers and Dak to get a repertoire, it'll bode well. A couple of things that you got to notice about yesterday's game is everybody stepped it up. Joe Looney had a hell of a game. On Zeke's big run, Joe Looney was down there leading the pack. Dude looked exhausted. Dude, I'm surprised they didn't have oxygen for him. But the offensive line played better, gave him time. The receivers got open. And we didn't have the game drive killing penalties and mistakes that cost us game like Seattle. We didn't have the ball bouncing out of a guy's hand to the defender. We didn't have penalties that took a positive play and now makes it 1st and 20. So when you eliminate the mistakes, when you have everybody playing well, the team can do a lot. So I'm happy about that. But speaking of turnovers, we are the only team right now in the NFL without an interception, which is unbelievable when you look at how much pressure we put on the quarterback. We've got 14 sacks in the season. DeMarcus Lawrence has 5.5 sacks himself. He's going to get paid, and you got to pay him. But we have yet in 4 games to get an interception, and I just don't understand why we can't seem to get freaking interceptions. Not just this year. It was last year. It's been since 2014 since we've been consistent at getting into turnovers. If we can somehow, some way, start getting a pick or 2 a game, we would blow people out. Understand, we're doing well in the turnover ratio because the offense isn't turning it over. But that's the thing that has to change on that defense. We have got to start getting some turnovers. Yesterday, Jeff Heath reverted back to the Jeff Heath of old. He had a bad game. He got nicked up a bit, had some bad angles and some missed tackles, and we got to do better at safety. That's still my number one concern on the defense is I'm worried about our safety play. Eric Reed's already signed. Earl Thomas now has a broken leg, and his middle finger seems to work okay as he flicked off the Seattle Seahawks. So it's safe to assume that he'll never play again for Seattle. Fractured his leg. And that's going to be one of those ones that when you get greedy, you can end up getting nothing. And that's what happened to Seattle. Seattle should have made the move and got that 2nd-round pick. They won yesterday against the Cardinals, but who isn't winning against the Cardinals? And they're going to be in a rebuild mode. So, that's their problem. So that talk is dead and over with. It's possible to sign him as a free agent, but the question will be is how much money will he want? We'll deal with that next offseason. Injury-wise, we have still fared pretty well. Knock on wood. You see Cole was limping around a little bit on that ankle, but he ended up coming back and playing. You saw Austin go down, and I thought for sure he broke his elbow or there was some major damage the way he landed in the end zone, but he came back into the game, so he's okay. So for the most part, we're still relatively healthy. We've been fortunate thus far. Yes, Sean Lee's still dealing with his hamstrings. We'll see how that reacts. He may be back this Sunday against the Texans. But for the most part, we've been able to weather the storm on that. Now, as we look around our division, the Eagles, and you notice it's kind of quieter in here today. The lights have come on and the cockroaches have run. The Giant and the Eagle cockroaches won't be found. There'll be a few that are real fans, of the team and things like that that'll be in here. But for the most part, all of those Eagle fans that told me I am a freaking idiot, that the Eagles were the best team in the NFL and we're just going to steamroll into the Super Bowl and win the division. And when I said it's hard to repeat, not trying to throw hate, putting out facts of what happens in the NFC East. You're an idiot. Yeah. Where are those guys this morning? Yeah. The Eagles' biggest problem is, one of the things I alluded to, when you go to the Super Bowl, you have a shorter offseason. You don't have as much time to get operations and to heal. They're beat up. Carson Wentz just got back last week from his knee injury. Jay Ajayi is playing with a fractured bone in his back. They've got players left and right that aren't on the team. Now, they're still a team to reckon with, don't get me wrong. But it's not easy as everybody in Philadelphia thought it was going to be. The Giants, the Giants are going to be so great. They got Barkley, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, Eli Manning. Odell Beckham is back. The Giants are going to be a better team. They still have that crappy offensive line, though, don't they? 1-3. Yeah. In the first place, Washington Redskins. Well, they play the Saints next week, so we'll see how they do with that one. And we've got the Texans. Enjoy today. We got 6 days, 11 hours, 51 minutes, and 35 seconds until we kick off against the Texans. There's no time to enjoy this. We got to focus in on beating the Texans and winning the state of Texas. So with that said, guys, I got a long drive ahead of me. Got to get down the country and take care of some business. But of course, any news on the Dallas Cowboys, you know me and my son, Michael Anthony, will be bringing it to you. And as always, I want to thank everybody who went through the hours, and I mean hours, of live streaming last night. We had a great time, E2 Blue, out at the Cowboys and Deck last night, talking about the Cowboys, and it was so much more fun talking about a victory as instead of the doom and gloom. Oh, God, the doom and gloom of last week. Whew. But that's the NFL for you. You just want to live to fight another day. We'll be live streaming here, of course, tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern. And have a great Monday, friends. I'll see you soon.